right, it is time for reading, challenge, check-in, and wrap-up. All the things, all the things. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you the results of week 4 of my May reading challenge. In the month of May, I challenged myself to read 2,000 pages from the works on my currently reading list, which at the time when May began was 38 titles, so it was a lot. So it's time to do something about it, so I've dedicated the month to do that. So that's the goal, 2,000 pages from those titles. They're mostly books, so I think there was like one graphic novel, but generally speaking they're books or collections or nonfiction. Nonfiction's still a book. I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole. Let's get out while we still can. So there was 38 titles, and the goal was 2,000 pages for the month, broken down to 500 pages a week or 72 pages a day. So that was my goal, is every day to read 72 pages to get to 500 a week and eventually 2,000 for the month. So now we're going to take a look at how week 4 went. Did I make it to 500 pages? Did I make it to 2,000 pages? And oh yeah, I forgot to say, I picked them from the jars. So I picked, every week I picked randomly 2 nonfiction titles and 3 fiction titles, and that's what my reading was for the week. So this week, we're gonna go through, as we have been doing for the past couple weeks, we're gonna look at the titles by least pages read to most pages read, and then we will look at the math. So the least pages read probably comes as no surprise, and that is Les Misérables. I have rebound the book into 5 volumes. I'm in the second volume, or the second book, out of 5. And so I read the least pages from Les Mis. I read 42 pages, and I have now 976 to go. Now that isn't a huge amount of pages, but I'm really happy for a couple of reasons. One, I'm under 1,000 to go. And 2, I finished a section. So I actually stopped reading it a little bit early because I got through the first book of the second book. Why are they all called, part? Okay, I'm in the second part and I finished the first section or book. So when I come back to this, I will have the next book to read, which was actually quite short comparatively. I probably could have read those 13 pages. Let's just carry on. Anyway, one of the things I have noticed through this challenge, because I know I'm only reading the titles for 1 week at a time, I do like to make sure that I start back at a good spot. So I did finish this one a little bit early. I'm not gonna lie, the section I was reading was very dry. I didn't enjoy it. It kept on doing things like saying, well, we all know what happened on this day or at this moment or this historical event. And I'm like, I don't know. So, and then sometimes it would proceed to tell you in detail, and sometimes it would just gloss over that and talk about like other things around it. So it wasn't my favorite section, and I was getting a little frustrated, I won't lie, because I was trying to figure out, how does this tie into the main story? Because it doesn't feel like it was going to tie in. Eventually, I feel like I figured out what the tie-in, but I'm like, wow, that was a long and winding road to get to that moment, and I think it could have been done a little more succinctly. But in a book that's 1,304 pages, I think we are on the slow winding road. So anyway, so I'm glad that I finished that section. I'm actually really glad the next section is quite short, so maybe the next time I pick this up I can finish not 1 but 2 sections. So anyway, progress on Les Mis. So 42 pages from Les Misérables. The next title that I read, I got 71 pages read of great ghost stories, and I got 7.5 stories read. There were a couple of really good ones in here that I enjoyed. I need the author names. The Judge's House by Bram Stoker, which I was really surprised at because I didn't love Dracula. I thought it was a bit, I just didn't like it. A Ghost Story by Jerome K. Jerome I really enjoyed, and Bone to His Bone by E.G. Swain. That one, that's the second last one. It was really interesting. It had a very different tone than like a different, I don't know, sometimes a lot of ghost stories have the same sort of rhythm of things or resolve of things, and it had a bit of a difference, so I appreciated that. And then I finally read The Monkey's Paw by W.W. Jacobs, which is a very famous story, and it does come up in a lot of like horror movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So it gets absorbed into pop culture, and I always love reading the original when that's the case. So yeah, so I didn't, but did I make it through? Well, given I read 7.5 stories, you probably can tell, no, I did not finish it. I have 6 pages left of this. And half a story. So I didn't quite make it, and again, the culprit was sleep. I fell asleep. And I had woken up early and I thought I could finish it. Nope. I bad choice. I should have just left the whole story and had one story left. But I woke up really early and then I was reading it and then I fell asleep. So sleep is the culprit yet again, which has been the case for very consistently. So 6 pages left to go on that one. And then next up, I read 100 pages from Swordborn by Jennifer Robertson. This is the 5th book in the Tiger and Dell series. It's a fantasy series. I actually loved being back in this world. There are some things I found a little bit complicated about this one, and I'm still trying to figure out. I remember the moment of why I got a little annoyed with this series. It hasn't happened yet, and I think it was just one of those. I don't know. It's one of those moments that's like, I don't know if anyone else would care about that particular moment, but I haven't got there yet. Anyway, I'm really loving the story. I really care about these characters. Like for me, because it's a series that I have read multiple times, not this book, but the first 4 books I've read multiple times, and I love the characters so much, and it is one of the first fantasy series that I read. They feel so lifelike to me, like they feel so real to me. So it was actually really nice to be back in seeing what they get up to, especially because this book I don't remember the story very well as I do for the first 4 books. So I kind of wish I had read more from this, but again, I picked actually at quite a good point to leave it to pick up again. That being said, I think I will take some notes on my spreadsheet or maybe on index cards or something. If it was a physical book, I would do it on an index card and put it in the book, but maybe I'll put it in my spreadsheet just to put a few notes of what, because it was quite a dramatic moment where it left off, and so that if it's a while before I come back to this one, then I'll be more centered. So I have to remember to do that. Editing Shannon will stop the video and go do that hopefully. But yeah, so it was wonderful to get back into this world. So I read 100 pages from this, and I now have 319 to go, and then I read 128 pages from Escher on Escher, Exploring the Infinite. This is translated from the Dutch by Karen Ford, and it's about M.C. Escher. It is actually sort of like lectures and letters that he wrote about his process, and it's been absolutely fascinating because his works are very well known for, often for these sort of like mind-bending, impossible, but look real situations, and also the sort of repetition, like the cover, that's the cover, no it's not, that's fish, right? Yeah, no, lizards. But one of the most interesting things I found about him was he talked about one of the things that's very important to him, and he's a graphic artist, is that is recognizability, like being able to know that this is a person, being able to know that that's a lizard, or often he uses birds and fish, also symbolically for water and sky, I think. But some of the stuff, some of the stuff is very intellectual and very engaging, and I didn't catch all of it, but it's something that it's so wonderful to have this book where he shares his philosophy on his life's work, and which is a huge contribution to art, and so I really enjoyed it, and I have 25 pages to go. 25 pages to go. Did Shannon finish anything this week? It's not the goal. It's not the goal. So the next one, so that's actually 4, so we only have 1 book left, and that book is Law's Guide to Nature, Drawing, and Journaling by John Muir's Law, which I have been just absolutely loving. And this one I read 328 pages of, so I read a lot of pages on this one. Did I finish it? No. I have 36 pages to go. So no finishes this week from this 5. That being said, I did finish off last week. I was halfway through a story in the Edgar Allan Poe collection, the something of Mary Roget. This edition does not have it on the Mystery of Mary Roget. So I finished that, go me. And then I did also finish, something. So I read, that was just, it was 14 pages, but I didn't want to leave in the middle of a story, and those stories are quite long. And then I did finish Pirate's Passion. Yay! I cheated on my list and read 63 pages of Pirate's Passion. That's not true. I always read this after I got my 72 pages in, or like I got to goal, then I read this. But I did finish this. I really wanted to finish it. It wasn't the pick for the week. It was a pick from week 2. And I also really want to read the next book in June. So I did finish something, but nothing of the 5. I am just shocked. Like honestly, like 6 pages left, 25 pages left, and 30 pages in the Law's Guide, or 36, which honestly would take me about 12 minutes. But the truth is, I just sleep happened, and I needed to get the day started, so I didn't finish any of the 5. And it's getting towards the end of the month, and I almost left the ghost stories. I almost left it with 1 story left to go back in the pot, or back in the jar. But I was like, oh no, I'm up pretty early. I can probably finish it. But they're dry. They're dry. They really are. Anyway, so I didn't have any finishes, but how did I do for the week? Let's take a look. So here are my numbers for the week. And as you can see, they add up to a total of 650 pages. So I not only met but exceeded my 500 page count goal, which is why I don't really feel too bad about things. I actually hit 500 pages on Thursday, and I think actually going forward, if I continue this challenge, or just in terms of my reading planning going ahead, I've noticed this month that I really, really, really prefer to be done my reading goals by end of day Thursday. I don't want to have to read on Friday or Saturday. I don't like it. It doesn't work well for me. If I choose to read, great. But if I feel like I have to read, I am not a happy camper. So I think I'm going to shift some of my goals in the future to make sure that my reading week is really more Sunday to Thursday. And then if I want to read on the weekend, great. But having to wasn't good. I knew that going into this, because anytime I plan something for a week, I really actually plan it as 5 times a week. Trying to do something every day is really hard, and like for me. And so I know that I shouldn't do that, because if I miss a day, then I get mad or upset or whatever, frustrated. And that did happen to me. Like, it's weird. I started off really strong, and I got to 500 by like Wednesday in that first week. But every other week, it was like right to the last day, or I missed it. Last week I didn't get to target, and then this week I got it early, and so those 2 weeks I was happy. The other 2 weeks I was grumpy. So I think that'll just overall make me happy, is to have a goal that I can achieve by Thursday, and then the weekend is just bonus. So that really was really helpful. It also just one of the reasons why I actually didn't go for this challenge is I couldn't get the numbers to work. Because to get 2,000 pages into 500 pages, 2,000 pages for the month, 500 pages week to week, 72 pages for the day, I didn't feel like I could do 100 pages a day for 5 days. I felt like that was not achievable. And as we look down the month, the daily count, so there's a couple of days here, 1 day here, 2 days here. So 5 days out of the month did I hit 100 pages. So feeling like I couldn't hit that every day is just setting myself up for failure. So I think if I do something like this going forward, what I would do is have 75 pages a day, 5 days a week, or whatever, 50 pages, 65 pages. The consistency is what's helpful. Also, resetting every week has been incredibly helpful. Whether or not I exceeded goal or I didn't meet goal, having a new opportunity and a fresh start and the counter going to 0 was great. And as it turns out, it does all end up being fine in the end. So my total page count for the 4 weeks is 2,313 pages, which ended up being an average of 82 pages a day. So there we go. I made it. I got to 2,000 pages. And that doesn't include May 1st, which I read 92 pages. It doesn't include the end of the month, which is the 30th and the 31st. And it doesn't include, I also read, when I cheated from the 5, but still read books from my currently reading. I tabulated that as well. And I think it's about 350 pages. So that'll be another 350 on that get tacked on to my currently reading. So I feel like things actually went really, really well. I am going to save reflecting on the month as a whole until the month actually wraps up. So I have the 2 more days. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do this week in terms of my reading. Like, I will finish The Ghost Story. I will finish Law's Guide to Nature Drawing and Journaling. I don't know if I'm going to draw from the jars. I don't have time in my film schedule to release a video for that. So I'm not going to film it if I do it, which is weird. And I don't know if I should do sort of like a free-for-all week, because the rest of the month is quite, I have lots of things going on. I will have a June reading plans video coming on Wednesday. It's not TBR per se, but it's the things I plan on participating in June. So this first week is the only week in the month, like May 30th to June 5th is the only week in the month that's pretty open. So I don't know if I should just do whatever, or if I should pick from the jars, or if I should pick like one title less or something like that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I will do a wrap up on Sunday the 6th. Yeah. And then I'll do a TBR for the first full week in June on June 7th. And I'm going to have that be my schedule. So I'll do a wrap up on Sunday, a TBR on Monday, whether it's pulling it from the jars or making the decision, I don't know. But I like having the weekly TBRs. It's been fun to do. And doing the weekly wrap ups has worked out well, even though I like Friday reads in a way better. Like filming on Sunday actually has gone well, and it makes it in line with my actual reading, which is helpful. This month I did get behind and I didn't really like that. So anyway, so it's weird because it's like overall I feel like the project's gone really well and I really want to celebrate that, and I do. I am so happy that I got to my pages. Like, I'm just thrilled. And any week where I got to 500 or I finished, the whole like finishing not being the goal has been a very strange experience. Like, I just have to keep on correcting myself to, this is still progress. Like, the fact that I have like so many books where I have 50 pages or left to read, that's great. That means my next month of reading, if I work on those books, is going to have, like, I'm going to be in really good shape to get more off of my currently reading. So I think right now I've had 3 pulls from the jars be finished. Storm Kirsten week 1, Go Ahead in the Rain in week 3, and then Pirate's Passion here in week 4, even though it wasn't from the jar. And I did have 2 other finishes that were just really quick carryovers from the month before. So that takes me from 38 from the beginning of the month to 33. So, and I do think I'll finish 2 more today. So that'll be 31. So now the whole thing is, I'm like, I don't want to start anything. But there are 2 books I want to start. I do want to get to the next in the Sentinels of Savannah series, and I don't think I'll be able to wait. I probably will start that today. So yeah, so unfortunately I don't really know how things are going to roll out from here, other than I do have like my reading plans will be coming this week, and I will do the wrap-ups and TBRs, but I have no idea what I'm going to read this week. I haven't done that yet. Pulling from the jars has been great. It has had I think a really good success rate, a really great variety. I've had to solve some problems, or even realize that one of the things that I don't tend to actively choose are collections, but I like to read them. And I've also noticed that I really like to read a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. Like, sitting down to read a little bit from 5 books on most days has been great. Like, it's a fair amount of time, and that's not always the best. I can't always do that, but like this week, I read from almost every book, almost every day. See, Monday through Thursday, I read from every single book, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed timing my reading. Even if I don't do anything with the information, I enjoy it. I like collecting data. It's just the kind of person I am. So yeah, so I think things have gone really well. So this week that coming up is a bit weird, but you know, I think also those weeks that are part of 2 different months do feel a bit weird when you get all set on things. So who knows? Maybe I'll just read graphic novels. Maybe I won't read anything. Maybe I'll just watch movies. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, this is a wrap up of what happened, not plans for the future, but I've always have sort of eyes on both things, which can be distracting. So I'm going to leave things there. Thank you for coming along with the journey. I will do a reflection video on the challenge as a whole, as well as stats and reflection. I have no idea how I did on my goals this month. It'll be very interesting to see if I met any annual goals this month, considering I decided to do something completely different. We shall see in a future video. So yeah, look forward to my June reading plans on Wednesday, and I have something for Friday as well. I think I'll be posting Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday most weeks. So that's how things will go. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back soon with another video. Take care.